Welcome back into Colatown on this cold Monday. It is Groundhog Day, February the 2nd, 2026. Really appreciate you being with us. My name is Kevin Cohen. We're together until 10 o'clock this morning. Appreciate you sharing with us our hour every week for Colatown, our city, our stories. Thanks again to Miranda Williams from the American Heart Association and to Madison Rivers, who joined us from the city of Columbia in the first half hour. We want to stick with our theme here, talking to folks within the city, and turn our attention to the CPD. And joining us now on the Groucho's hotline, we want to welcome in from over at the Columbia Police Department. We say hello to Sergeant Harry Delage, who joins us, and he is with us as we're going to get ready to talk a little bit about recruitment, talk a little bit about the job and things like that. And Sarge, it's good to have you on the program. Welcome to Colatown, and welcome to The Point.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
You betcha. Glad to have you guys on board. And, you know, I have the opportunity to visit with Chief Holbrook on a pretty regular basis on the station, and just and obviously I'm a big fan of his and what you guys are doing. And, you know, I got to say this up front because I don't know that you've ever even heard our radio station, but I got to tell you, we really look at what you guys do in law enforcement, first responders, but especially in the law enforcement side. And we look at when something hits the fan and it goes real bad, the rest of us are scattering like cockroaches in the night, and you guys are running toward danger. And you guys are just absolute heroes to me and to so many people in law enforcement. We appreciate you so very, very much, have immense respect for you guys and wearing the badge. And just, I want you to know how much we appreciate you.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that. I mean, you know, as a public servant, you know, it's a calling. It's something that you have to be called to. It's not just for everybody, but I mean, and those of us that do it day in and day out and 24 hours a day and 365 and, you know, all that kind of good stuff. I mean, this is what we love to do. And that's why we do it, because, I mean, ultimately we serve the community, and we're a very community-oriented police department, and that's one of the things we enjoy most is serving the community.
You know, I often tell people this when we hear things that are controversial or this or that. I always remind folks, you know, never met a police officer that did it to get rich. Never met a police officer that did it to get famous. As you said, it is a calling and the opportunity to serve your community. And as a result of that, there are some great opportunities that we have now to talk about joining the Columbia Police Department. No secret here, Sarge. We have a shortage of cops in the city of Columbia. We need more, and Chief wants more on the street. And so let's talk a little bit about the hiring event that's coming up, and just talk a little bit about why it's a great opportunity.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, well, we're having a hiring event on February 10th. We're calling all heroes to come to the Columbia Police Department hiring event at Busby Street, 1735 Busby Street, right over there off Fair Road at our Busby Street Community Center. And we're going to have two sessions, and one will start at 11 a.m. and go to 1:30, and the second one will go from 5 p.m. to 7:30. And they'll both be informational sessions, but that'll be the opportunity where, you know, we're hoping to draw in, you know, more people from the community in the surrounding areas that want to, you know, serve the citizens of Columbia and the state of South Carolina. And, you know, we're hoping to transition some people into their careers, you know, because it's not just a job. This is a career. This is something you have to have a passion for. You have to have the drive to just get out there and be a good community and public servant. And, you know, we're going to jumpstart this year, you know, we're here in February. And, you know, hopefully we're going to get a good opportunity to speak to quite a few people and potentially get them started in that direction of starting their career here at the Columbia Police Department.
Yeah, you know, Sarge, I think one thing that really is important about this particular event on the 10th with the two sessions is something that I love, and that is these days – when people are applying for jobs in any field, really, it's almost like get on a computer, fill out something, and hope that you hear back. This is a chance to go one-on-one, ask whatever questions you might have, and go face-to-face with somebody that can answer your questions right on the spot and get an opportunity to really get a feel for what the job is.
Exactly, and that's why we've geared up for this event to hopefully be that successful, because I, as the recruiting at the unit, and my partners that are here with me at the unit as well, I mean, that's what we enjoy most. We enjoy getting out there, being that one-on-one interaction, because you're putting a name with the face, you're putting, all that kind of good stuff. So that way you got any questions you can ask them, and you're not necessarily just going back and forth over your phone or a laptop or your desktop or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And we can pretty much answer any questions that anybody has. And trust me, if we don't know the answer, we will find the answer.
Yeah, and I think it's important, though, just to have, again, face-to-face. You're talking about, as you said, this is not just, applying to flip burgers. Nothing wrong with flipping burgers. This is a career. This is something that if you you find your passion and you find that this is something you really want to do and believe in, this could be, the next 20 years of your life as a professional, and has some great opportunities also. Let's talk about how things have gotten better with CPD in terms of hiring, in terms of incentive, and in terms of just the job itself. People have started to realize we got to do better when it comes to paying law enforcement, all of that stuff. So things have improved.
That is correct. I mean, the City of Columbia Police Department, one of the things, we're a very progressive, very proactive department. We value our officers, we value our citizens' opinions and their input into this department. So we try to make proper accommodations when the time comes to just be able to do the best we can, so that way we can be the best public servants we can be. So what that looks like for us is, our starting salary is getting up over $50,000, north of $50,000. We're also doing a $5,000 sign-on bonus upon completion of training. And, we have educational incentives. We have pay increases yearly. So, there's an opportunity where you're not just going to stay stagnant as far as that potential, as far as moving up. We also have a lot of career opportunities for you to look into as far as different bureaus that you could go into, investigations, canine, traffic unit, places, stuff like that. So, it's just, and, even the recruiting unit, because we know that there's a need to be out here recruiting, our next best police officer for the City of Columbia. So we try to staff our department here at recruiting with those officers as well, because, here again, that name with the face, that could be you. And that's what we want it to be. If you want to be here, we want to do our best to get you here.
If you're just joining us here on Colatown, we're talking right now with Sergeant Harry Delage from over at the Columbia Police Department. He works with the recruiting and has got a big event coming up on the 10th of February. That's a Tuesday, with a couple of different sessions over at Busby Street Community Center. And it's an opportunity to welcome in some heroes who really want to give back to the community. And also, as you mentioned, the benefits now that have come along with joining CPD, from salary and others, are really the bonus, all that kind of stuff, better than it's ever been before. One thing I wanted to talk about, though, when it comes to this is I can't think of a better place where there's more opportunity for advancement also, Sarge. If you really find your passion and you're good at what you're doing, you can really grow with this career.
Oh, 100%, because, law enforcement officers can start their career, with us at starting at 18 years of age and up to 20 and a half as a police cadet. We're going to invest in you before you can even actually be a sworn-in police officer. That's the type of commitment that the City of Columbia brings to this community, because we realize that sometimes we have to get to these younger people a little sooner, and our cadet program is one of them. And we can actually hire them and start training them and before they can even become a police officer. And then just to speak on the once you become, 21, we are an agency that just requires a GED or a high school diploma. And because we value everybody. And you don't necessarily just have to have a college degree and all that type of stuff. Don't get me wrong, it's nice. And we do have pay incentives for extra educational stuff. But, you can be in this career with just a high school diploma, and you can do very well. I use myself as that example. I've been in this job now for over 20-plus years, and, and I enjoy it, and I love it every day, and I come from just having a high school background.
Yeah, and again, that's it is important. I do want to go over what you're requiring for people to have and what you mentioned, the high school diploma. Let's talk about that and what else people should be bringing when they come to Busby Street on the 10th.
Yeah, so, obviously the first thing they would do is necessarily need to go to apply for the position, or whether it be a police officer candidate which means that you're not a certified police officer yet, but you'd like to become a certified police officer, or you apply for a police officer Class 3 candidate position for our Finley Park location, which is actually a new position, and we can talk a little bit more about that as well, because we're hiring Class 3 advanced officers for those positions, and their assignment would be just in Finley Park as an officer in the Finley Park area. But the requirements, basically, you got to have at least a valid South Carolina driver's license. You need to bring Social Security card, copy of your birth certificate, copy of high school diploma or GED or your college diploma, an original 10-year driving history, driving record. Now, a lot of people get that a little bit confused because they may have only been, say, living in South Carolina, and they've only been driving for 5 years. Let's be real. Some people, they don't start driving until a little bit later in life, and that's okay. Just bring whatever history you can bring. If it doesn't total up to 10 years, we can take a look at it and we'll understand why. But sometimes there are people coming from out of state and they've driven in multiple states, and then we would need to get, if you did 2 years in Texas or say 3 years in North Carolina, that's 5 years, but then you've been in South Carolina for 5 years. We're still going to need that 10 years between that. And then just a completed credit report. We're not necessarily looking for a credit score. We just need you to show us a completed credit report to where, that you're responsible and you're taking care of your bills and stuff like that, and you're not behind or any of that type of stuff.
Yeah, important to have all that information, and then again, you earn yourself the right for the face-to-face. Well, what I want you to do, if you don't mind, Sarge, is just kind of hold tight for just a moment. We're going to do a quick break. We'll come on back, our second half of our visit. I want to talk a little bit more about the job itself, and we'll get into the specifics and the new opportunity you mentioned with Finley Park and the chance to take care of that beautiful new location or newly renovated location. We'll do all of that. Our guest here on Colatown, Sergeant Harry Delage, who's with us from now until about 10 o'clock. We're going to tackle a quick timeout. Come on back with more. Stick around. Don't go away as we continue. Colatown, our city, our stories, on a Monday at The Point. Colatown with you for another segment here on a chilly Monday morning. It is February the 2nd, 2026. Thank you for being with us here on The Point. Our city, our stories. We're enjoying ourselves very, very much and having a good conversation. Let's go back to our Groucho's Deli hotline and say hello again to Sergeant Harry Delage, who joins us from the Columbia Police Department, and been talking all about the big recruiting event that's going to be coming up in just a little while on the 10th. That's a week from tomorrow. And that's going to be over at the Busby Street Community Center. We'll remind you of all the details. There's 2 different sessions, depending on your work schedule, that the Sarge can tell you about. We'll do that before we wrap here, just close to 10 o'clock. But again, Sarge, thank you for taking the time and joining us. Really appreciate you being with us. And more importantly, again, I thank you and everyone who wears the uniform for your sacrifice and your commitment to our community and keeping this community safe. I promise you, at least around here, we don't take you guys for granted. We try real hard not to.
Well, thank you very much. We really do appreciate that.
I want to talk about the job a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about, getting people fired up about it because, again, I always, whenever I talk with Chief Holbrook, whenever I talk with Sheriff Lott or someone here in law enforcement in the community, we always get into this conversation of how being a cop is not like a television show where crimes get solved in 42 minutes, and every single show there's going to be pulling out your gun and shooting and defending, and that's not what serving the community is. God forbid you ever even have to pull your firearm to use. And hopefully you can go your entire career without having to shoot somebody or shoot at somebody or be shot at by somebody. But the fact of the matter is there is danger involved. But no, crimes are not solved in 40 minutes.
No, that is couldn't be more accurate. Every now and then, maybe a very misdemeanor crime could get solved that quick, but on average, it doesn't get solved that quickly. I mean, sometimes there has to be an investigation. There's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of follow-up involved. You have to obviously get out in the community sometimes and start searching through the community, knocking on doors, seeing if anybody saw anything, that type of stuff. So there's a lot involved that the TV, obviously, in 42 minutes portrays a little differently. If we solved those crimes in every 42 minutes, I think we'd all be out of a job potentially. That'd be, I'm not necessarily upset if that were to happen, but it's not reality. That's not what's going to happen. This job is, when you sign up to do this, and it's your passion, it doesn't really become a job anymore. It is just truly that career because it's something that you want to do. And so therefore, the pay is just a benefit. It's just a perk, in my opinion, because, I enjoy what I do, especially as a recruiter. I did 25 years of patrol, and I've been doing the recruiting for the last couple of years, and I can honestly tell you I thoroughly enjoy it because I love talking to people. I love getting people started in their career and helping find better qualified people to serve the community of the city of Columbia. And it's just that type of passion for myself and the other officers that work in this unit. That's what we do every day because it's our goal to find better officers all the time because the community deserves it, and that's why we do what we do.
When you were talking about how things aren't solved in a 1 hour episode or 42 minutes of a TV show, you mentioned that there's knocking on doors, there's talking to neighbors, there's things like that. I think it's important for people to realize just how important community policing is and how much it is that you guys try to build a bond and build some trust within the community and get to know the people that you serve.
Well, yeah, and because of the city of Columbia, that is our main goal. We're community policing at best because we could not be as successful as we are as an agency without the support of the community and the members in the community, because it takes the community to help us solve some of these problems sometimes because they have all the information because they're living in these communities. They know who the neighbors are, and they know where sometimes the bad elements are and what that looks like. And sometimes we just don't see it because we can't be everywhere all the time. So it's always better when we have the community's eyes helping us. So
let me ask you this just for fun before we're ready to wrap here up in about 7-8 minutes. Give me a TV show that you think is good when it comes to police. Has there ever been one that really think is as close as you're going to get?
Oh man,
I've had people tell me like Hill Street Blues has been one in the past, NYPD Blue, things like that. Is there one that you think is pretty decent when it comes to kind of showing some of the highs and lows?
Yeah, I would go old school like that with you. I would say Hill Street Blues is probably one of the ones that I would say would be a little bit more realistic because they always had to do to be continued because they couldn't solve it in 42
minutes. Right, that's a good point.
I would say that'd be a little bit more. The ones today are just, they're entertaining and that's about it.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. They're pretty schlocky, yeah, for sure. Let's talk about some of the specific opportunities. You mentioned Finley Park. With that beautiful park reopening now, there's some opportunities to really make that your second home.
Oh, yes, because, the city has invested in restoring and revitalizing the park. And one of the things that was recognized early on is we might need to provide a little extra security just to help maintain it. And so the city has decided to expand our Class 3 advanced positions and staff the park with some Class 3 advanced officers. So basically what that would look like is once you were to potentially apply for that position and get hired, we would train you and do all the necessary steps to get you squared away. And then your assignment would be strictly to patrol the Finley Park area during park hours. So, most of the park hours vary just a little bit as far as summer and the winter. But, let's just say, 6 in the morning to probably 8 o'clock in the evening would be about a safe bet. So most of those shifts are going to either be 8-hour shifts when the time comes or potentially 10 to 12-hour shifts. Because it kind of depends on what's going on in the park. I know in the previous podcast there earlier this morning, there was something coming up on the park that's going to be a pretty high-profile event.
Sure.
So there'll also be, officers there and park rangers there at the same time just to make sure everybody's having a good, safe time, and it's it's very productive for everybody that decides to come out.
Well, look, that's a perfect example of what we're talking about here. The park had gone and gotten to the point where it was overrun and with homelessness and overrun with problems, and that led to the demise of Finley Park. And now our community has invested millions of dollars to get this beautiful park open again. And obviously we want to make sure that people feel safe coming out to it. And so there's going to be a police presence out there, and you have the opportunity to be part of that, which, and again, gives you an opportunity to really build relationships within our community with the people that come to visit the park. And that's just one of it. I mean, we have over 60 different parks in Columbia that CPD tries to make sure are safe, and just a number of different things. I wanted to talk about the boss for a second, because Chief Holbrook is someone that I consider a friend, and someone that I think has just been a real blessing in the community. And I think it starts from the top down. When you've got a guy who sets a good example and does it the right way, I think the department grows as a whole.
Oh, 100%. Chief Holbrook has come into this department, and he has made some tremendous strides for the agency and tremendous strides for the communities and who we serve. And he has taken us to a next level as far as community service. And, reflects in the work that we put out every day, just in general, because, like you said, it comes from the top down. And, I strive, daily, and, our unit strives daily to go out and seek the best candidates for this department, because that's what not only does the chief expect, but, he expects us to do that for the community. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, good stuff. Let's go over again, Sarge, the details of exactly what's going on February the 10th, so that people that maybe joined us a little late that want to get involved with CPD and want to find a career, or maybe they're listening and they've got a son or a daughter or a next-door neighbor that they can tell them about it. But tell us a little bit more about what's happening a week from tomorrow. Sure.
So we're calling all heroes on February 10th on 2026 at the Busby Street Complex, which is 1735 Busby Street. We're going to do 2 hiring information sessions starting at 11 a.m. and it'll run to 1:30 p.m. And the second session will run from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. to 7:30. I apologize. And then basically the reason why we want to do 2 sessions is because we're trying to work around anybody and everybody's schedule, because we understand some people can't be there in the morning, some people can't be there until the evening. So that's the biggest thing. And if you want to apply for any of those positions that we were speaking of, a police officer candidate position or a police officer class 3 advanced position for Finley Park, then you would just go to the website and apply for one of those positions. And if you choose to come to that session or either one of those sessions, just go ahead and bring the certain information with you, because that'll actually get you jump started in us getting you set up for other parts of the hiring process potentially. So make sure you bring a valid driver's license, bring your Social Security card, copy of your birth certificate, a copy of your high school diploma or GED or your college diploma, and then a certified original 10-year driving history from whichever state or states that you've had one. If you don't necessarily have all that because sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get that stuff, that's something we can work with you on. Don't get hung up on just one part of it. We'll figure it out. And then obviously we need to do a credit check on you, so you could just do Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, and just bring a completed credit report with you. And like I said, we're not necessarily looking for somebody's credit score or anything like that. We just need to know that you take care of your bills and you pay your stuff on time. And we understand everybody has bills. I mean, I've got 3 kids. I know what it's like to have bills.
For sure.
And
we
understand that.
If for some strange reason you can't make it at all to either of those 2 sessions, you could still go to the website and even go through that if you had to. If you couldn't make it, ColumbiaPD.net. Yep. So listen, Sarge, to you and the entire force, thank you for what you do. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate you having us.
Yes, sir. There you go. That's Colatown for a Monday right here at The Point. Have a great day.